Okay, we'll get started with the meeting. And well, Whitney just logged on. Good morning, Whitney. We're going to go ahead and get started, and with talking about IAR and MIBOR and or just giving you updates there. One of the things I want to do here is share my screen with you, which for whatever reason, boy, they have changed things. Well, there we go. The 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 navigation screen here is completely different than it's been in the past, so I'm not sure why. At any rate, I'm sharing my screen now with you. You should be able to see it now. And what you should be looking at is the Realtor Weekly. You should have received this yesterday in your email. If you didn't, then you need to check your spam folder. This comes every week on Monday. And it's got some particularly important things in it this week. The first thing is called Hot Topic right here. It's talking about understanding class notice, how to prepare for consumer questions. Notices will have gone out to people who purchased a home or listed a home for sale uh, during from the period from October 31st, 2017 through August 17th, 2024. And so you may well get questions from people that you listed a property with or even buyers about this class action settlement and this notice. And you should refrain from answering questions concerning the notice, but rather direct them to the website, and it's called realestateCommissionLitigation.com. And that's the website that you should send them to, or you could have them call 888-995-0207. One of those two things, but you should refrain from advising them of what they should do about it, should they sign it or not. Just explain to them that because I'm not licensed to practice law, I can't really explain it to you other than to point you toward these websites which do explain it in full, and that is the best that you can do. This is advice from NAR, actually originally, that's being repeated here by MIBOR. So this is something that's important to pay attention to. And so you can look in your email, and you'll have this information in your email. This goes out to all MIBOR members every Monday. And if you're not getting this, then you need to let MIBOR know, because you should be getting this every Monday. The second thing that I want to talk about in here that is kind of important is this code of ethics. They always have something about the code of ethics in here, and they reference Article 9. And Article 9 states realtors, for the protection of all parties, shall assure whenever possible that all agreements related to real estate transactions, including but not limited to listing and representation agreements, purchase contracts, and leases, are in writing in clear and understandable language expressing the specific terms, conditions, obligations, and commitments of the parties. A copy of each agreement shall be furnished to each party, such agreements upon their signing or initiating. So one of the things that's important to keep in mind is that you make sure that your clients get either a digital or paper copy of all documents. They need to have a copy of everything that they've signed. If you're getting things signed in person, a lot of times what I will do is I will duplicate the documents and I will have them sign all the duplicates. And that way they have a signed copy that they keep. I have a signed copy that I take with me. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is get the signed copies, go back to your office, scan them in, and then email them to your client. But they need to have a signed copy of everything that they sign. If you don't do that, then you're in violation of the Code of Ethics, Article 9, and you're opening yourself up for a lawsuit as well. A lot of this has been brought up in some of our E&O things to protect yourself. So just make sure that you're complete all agreements. Don't leave any blanks. So I've said this before in training on how to fill out a contract, but when you're filling out a contract, an agreement, purchase agreement, listing contract, buyer agency agreement, if there's a line, then something goes in that line. Now it may be NA, but you don't leave any blank lines. You either put something in the line or you put NA, not applicable. So every space on a contract should be any line that you could fill out should have something in it, either an NA or what actually goes in there. Nothing should be blank. Make sure that you execute written amendments to existing listing contracts, purchase agreement, inspection responses, etc. Don't just trust verbal agreements. Oh yeah, that's okay. Go ahead and extend the listing, and then you don't get a listing extension signed. So you need to make sure that you do that and explain agreements to clients so that they understand what they're asking for and agreeing to. So it's not good enough to just slide the document over to them and say, here, sign here and initial there and et cetera. But you need to explain those documents to them. And to explain documents to them, you need to be familiar with those documents yourself. Of course, there's a board of directors elections coming up, none that affect our office. There's a golf outing. Who cares unless you play golf? Maybe Sean will be there. I don't know. But coming up on September 13th is Homerama. And these are homes out in Zionsville. These are supposed to be really spectacular homes. All of them multi-million-dollar homes. But there's a realtor day on the 13th from 10 to 2. So it's for realtors. You can get a ticket for $10 to go to it. And you register here. So if you want to register for it and get your $10 ticket to go to that, you should do that. If you like looking at multi-million-dollar homes, I'm sure you'll see, the builders really try to outdo themselves to showcase these homes. And so they put all the bells and whistles in, all the spectacular sound systems and lighting systems and just all the bells and whistles that you could have in a home. They put in there. So, for what it's worth, Baggy puts this on. And that's the Builders Association of Greater Indianapolis. So just wanted to call your attention to that in case you want to visit the Homerama. It's on the 13th. Buy your tickets right here online. And so that is all I have for MIBOR. One of the things that I want to point out to you is hopefully you're now looking at my my browser. And in my browser here, one of the things that I wanted to show you, if you're in KV Core, which I'm going into right now.
Jim,
Yep.
would an email with the price change from the seller be okay, or do I have to sign a document with the price change?
You have to sign a document.
No, email is not valid. Okay.
Yeah. Well, an email, you need to get a document signed
Okay.
versus an email. And with electronic signatures, you can easily do that.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And also and you pay $10 to go to see those houses? You have to pay $10 to go and see a house?
Yes, the
Okay.
at-home-orama.
Okay, yeah, I know. Okay.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
is that notices that people are getting in the mail is like those notices sometimes you get that you were in a class action, and if you want to be part of it and get the 10 cents or the dollar that is assigned to you, you sign and you send that paper back. Is that around what you're talking about?
That's what I'm talking about is they get the notice that asks them to sign on to the class action lawsuit to get a part of the settlement. And you should not advise them on that. You should direct them to that. So if they call you and say, hey, what is this all about? Or should I sign this? Or, anything along that line, what you should say is, hey, I'm not able to
Yeah, I
advise
know.
you
I
on
know.
that without the unlicensed practice of law, unless you happen to be an attorney.
Yeah.
And then just to direct them to the website where they can get further information.
Yeah,
That's
because
your safe approach to that. Now, if you're in KV Core and you want to go to our Relium dashboard, this is the Realty World dashboard. You go up here to Quick Actions. You see this button up here? You click that, and then you go
I,
down
I
here and
don't
choose
I don't see
Relium
I don't see
dashboard.
we are not I'm not seeing your thing clicking. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, do you see me here? I'm
Yes, I
moving
see that.
my cursor. Relium dashboard is right there.
I don't see the courses, but I could be blind today, so fine.
You don't see Relium dashboard here where my little hand is?
No, I don't see your hand.
Okay, it's right
I
here.
see it.
Ah, you see it?
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
that must be
It
me.
might just be on your end.
Okay, got it.
Might be. At any rate, that takes you to us.relium.net. And that's where the Realty World, and this is slow because I've got all these things running right now, including Zoom. With everybody on it. But this will pull up your insider or Realty World portal, whatever you want to call it. And so as soon as it pulls up here, and it may ask you to sign into your account. So you use your sign-in credentials to log into your Realty World account. It's important. I would recommend that you go to your Realty World account at least once a week just to see what's going on, because this is the primary place where Realty World communicates with us, other than email. And so this page that you're looking at, this is your main page for information. It has quick to all the products. It has a list of our discounted products right now. That's what's on it. They change it consistently. It has this little section about write a testimonial and attend 10 online sessions to win $250. One of the things they've talked about doing with there's been fairly low attendance to the live webinars, and they want to increase attendance to the live webinars. It is somewhat discouraging to Gabrielle when she puts all the work into writing. She writes these training sessions specifically for Realty World, and spends a lot of time putting these trainings together and she does 2 a month. And so they've talked about not recording those. And if you're going to see it, you're going to have to see it live. Now, I have encouraged them to continue to record them. But that said, I really think that you should try to attend these live. The reality is, with a recording, if we know that we can get it anytime, we tend to just procrastinate, put it off, and never watch, and never get that training. And as a professional, with the business owner, where you need to grow your business on a daily and weekly and monthly basis, that's why you're in business. And if you're not in business to grow your business, then really you probably should get out of the business. But I'm presuming everybody here wants to grow their business. And Gabrielle does a great job of presenting these things. So on September 4th, at 10 o'clock Pacific time, there's a client retention strategy webinar. You can register for that. It's now 10 a.m. is Pacific Standard Time, which is about 1 o'clock Indy. Or 1 o'clock Eastern Time. But here's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn follow up and staying in touch, provide exceptional service, providing value beyond the transaction, building your strong personal brand. So you can register for that, and I encourage you to do that. And that's very important to us in terms of, particularly if you want to build a referral-based business, retention of your clients is critical. I just watched this one, A Guide to Nurturing Prospects, and it was excellent, excellent information on nurturing prospects that come in as leads or through your website and things of that sort. So I really encourage you to spend a little bit of time doing this and looking at these webinars and referring to them. There's also a calendar here. And if you click on the calendar and you pull up your calendar, and depending on the settings for your particular browser, you may either have descriptions. Yes, okay, now there's descriptions. Sometimes there's just blue dots. I don't know why it shows it, and sometimes there's blue dots, but I think it all has to do with your browser and how big your window is for your browser. But at any rate, it shows you here on the calendar where these meetings are. You can easily click on it and register for it. When you register for something, it sends you an email letting you know that you're registered. And it also has a little link that you can click on to add it to your calendar. And when it adds it to your calendar, it puts it on your calendar with the link to the Zoom meeting. So I highly recommend that you do that. You can also sync this calendar with your regular calendar. So if you're using iCal or you're using Outlook or whatever calendar, software calendar, Google Calendar, you can subscribe to this calendar and then sync to the existing calendar that you're using, and it will show you then when these events are. So I really highly recommend that you spend a little time and join in to those webinars. They're very well done. Gabrielle does a great job putting them on, and I'm sure she would really appreciate having more people attend her live trainings. And also then you can ask questions and get clarifications on things that you may not understand. So that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about. And then any questions and answers so far on any subject? No questions? Okay, well, I'm going to continue on then to RPR. I told you I wanted to show you some features in RPR. And so, well, first thing that I want to do with RPR is I want to show you how to get there. If you are on the MyBore Central, right here, this is the best way to get to your RPR. You just click on RPR here, and it takes you to RPR. It takes you to this page right here. And this is the home page for RPR. And by the way, you can set up your home page any way that you want. So you could set it up so that whenever you pull it up, it shows your area. One of the cool things about this is that uh, you can do a CMA for a property anywhere in the country. You do not have to be a member of that association to do a CMA. So for instance, I did a CMA up in South Bend for someone just using this tool here, the RPR tool. When you pull it up, you have these are guided tours. So it's really cool. It just walks you through. So let's say you want to create a CMA. You just click on the little button and it's going to take you through a guided tour of how to do a CMA. Okay, so create a CMA. Okay, show me. So I click show me, enter an address, and then click the search icon to search. So I'm going to put an address in here. Now, as you're typing it in, you'll see it comes up down here. And so you choose it from the little drop down thing. Okay, now it's pulling it up. Okay, now your little tour thing here, remember, it's guiding you through how to do this. Click create CMA to get started. So I click create CMA. And now it's getting started. Okay, so it's pulling up the information. Now I have two kinds of things that I can choose. I can do a comparative analysis or a sales comparison analysis. I suggest you do the sales comparison analysis. It is more complete than the comparative analysis. So I suggest that you do the sales comparison analysis. It's very similar to an appraisal. So I would use that option. Now it says confirm property facts as your next step. So I hit confirm facts and it pulls it up here. So first thing I do is I go through here and I'm presuming that you've visited the house or you at least have had a conversation with the seller to confirm the facts of their home. So I look in here and I'm going down through here and it shows me what some facts. So on the public facts, it shows it as 4 bedrooms. Well, only has 2 bedrooms. So I put in 2 bedrooms. So I go on through and you can, there's all kinds of things in here that you can look at to confirm. And once you've done that, confirm facts and close. Okay, now I want to search for comps. So I hit find comps. And this is one of the cool features of this is they're going to pull up a map here and it shows our property, where our property is in the neighborhood. And we want closed sales, right? For a CMA, we typically don't want to look at the actives and pendings. We want to look at the closed sales to get a value. Okay, and so we choose closed here, and we can go down here and we can choose beds and baths and etc. So if we only wanted to see 2-bedroom homes and 2-bath homes, then we could put that in here, and it's only going to show us those properties. Okay, and we could do other sort things too. And this is within the last 3 months that we're looking at, so the last 90 days. And so we do a little search and we see what pops up on our search. Okay, and so we've got some properties that popped up on our search. Okay, and we can see them here. Now, if we didn't have sufficient properties pop up, we could extend that search. We could extend it to 6 months or to a year. But the more recent the appraisals are, that's what an appraiser is going to use. If they can find comps within 90 days, those are the ones that an appraiser is going to use. So this is a good way to do it. Now, here's a cool way to choose your comps. You can go down here, it lists them all. You can add them to the comps here. But I like doing it on the map because I want them to see where they are compared to mine. Now, these are all in the same neighborhood. But if I had comps showing up over here, this isn't the same neighborhood. I wouldn't want to choose those, would I? So I make sure, and I can click on these, and it gives me a little thumbnail of the comp, and I can choose it from there. So I can either choose it there, just by clicking on these. So I can choose my comps that way. And so I can see down here the comps that I have. I could also add them. So if I want to add this one here to my comps, I can just hit right here, add the comps list, and it's going to add it on. Okay, so these are ones comps that I've used. And now I can update my valuation and close. Okay, now after I've done that, the next thing is to adjust the comps. So I'm going to go through and make my adjustments. And so if I hit adjust comps, then it pulls up each comparable property and it gives me a little place here where I can make adjustments to anything that changes. So mainly I'm going to do square footage adjustment, right? So subject property has 2,030 square feet. This one has 1904. So if I take 2,030 minus 1904, that's 126 square feet difference. I usually use $50 as my adjustment. That's just in a number that I use. I see appraisers using that frequently is why I use it. So I take my difference in square footage, 126 square feet times 50 equals that's $6,300 that I need to adjust. And since the CMA property is smaller than the subject property, I need to add 6,300 to the value of this to make it comparable. Okay, this one's 2096 versus 2030. That's only about 60 some square foot difference, not worth adjusting for that. 2106, okay, so 2106 minus 2030, that's 76 square feet difference. Probably not worth adjusting for. However, this one's bigger than that one. If I wanted to adjust, I'd just take that times 50, and I have $3,800 that I need to subtract from this one. So that'll just give you an idea of how to do that as you go down through. There's all kinds of things that you can adjust for: heating features, cooling features, porches and decks, roofing features, just all kinds of stuff in here that you can adjust for. View. So there's lots of different things that you could adjust in here, and it does the adjustments here for you on the, and you can even change the weighting of the comp. So if you think this is a better comp, you can increase the weighting on that and decrease the rating on others. And then when you're done, you can update your valuation and close. Marco, I see that you raised a hand.
Yes. Good morning, Jim. For basements, what price do you give for a square footage?
How would I what?
Like, what is your pricing for per square feet on basement?
On adjustments, you can, there's no set amount that you use in there. I've found that $50 works for square footage adjustment. Um, and I see that used by uh, appraisers often. But
Mm-hmm.
you could use any number. You don't have to use $50. That's just what
Okay.
I use. So if you have a different way you want to value property, and again, what I always do is I compare any CMA that I do with other sources as well. So even though I might do the CMA in RPR, um, I will probably check it in MIBOR as well. But then you just create a report and it gets you your valuation workbook, which is a multi-page, professionally looking report branded to you. It has all your information on it, all your contact information, and it creates that report then that you can download. You can select the pages, by the way. So if I want to create a report, I just hit this button and it's going to create a report, and gonna think about it for a minute here while it's loading up. Okay, and we're talking about a valuation workbook. You can do a sample of that here by just clicking on this button, and it'll show you a sample of that report, valuation workbook. It'll show you what it looks like and show you all the different pages to it, what it's going to look like. The other thing that you can do is, I can get back to where I was, yeah. Okay, I can, when I get to my valuation, I can also customize it. So if I hit customize, it's going to open up down below and I can choose what facts that I want to include in my report. So for instance, I may not want to include the facts about the homeowner that lists who the homeowner is and et cetera. I may not want that in my CMA. So I can uncheck that and it won't include that in the report. And historical photos, et cetera. So I can go right through here and determine what goes in the report and what doesn't. If I hit the little information button, the little eye there, it kind of shows me what that page looks like. So it gives me a preview of that to determine whether or not I want to include that in my report. So you can see it could be very big, all right? And subject property photos to include 2 pages worth or main photos only, so I can choose that. I can include any notes. And then down here, I can personalize the report. I can include the recipient name. I put their name in here, and I can put specific information in here. I can write a little note to them. I can display it, which allows me to download a PDF, or I can email it directly from here. I always want to display it because what I want to do is save it as a PDF and then email that PDF to my clients. That way I have a copy of it that I can put in their folder, their digital folder. And so when I've got everything done up here, then I just hit run report and it'll run the report. It takes a few minutes. It'll go ding dong when it's done. Sounds like a doorbell. And then you've got your report completed. So and it gives you all your reports that you've done, you have a list of those that you can refer to. So it does save any reports that you've done. So it's just that easy to do a CMA and RPR, and you can do it for anywhere in the country. You do not have to be a member of the local MLS in order to do a CMA. So just as an FYI. So it's a good tool to use. I'm not saying that this would be the preferable tool to use, but it's a good tool to use for those kinds of things. So anyway, that is all that I have for you here about the CMAs. Any questions on that? Okay. Thanks for your attendance. As always, this is being recorded. So I will post a recording of this